You know what Glide is?
What is
Glide's
that?
like a huge social media app, I guess.
I'm not
Nick's got
cool.
it.
I had it before I had Snapchat. Like, I didn't get Snapchat, so I got Glide.
Yeah.
I started using it.
Glide. I like the name of it.
Like so many people use it.
That sounds dirty though. Glide.
It sounds dirty.
Sounds very dirty. It got dirty on there. It sounds very dirty. It got dirty on that thing.
Dirtier than Snapchat, though?
What?
Dirtier than Snapchat? Snapchat, I feel like can get pretty dirty.
Oh, I don't even have a Snapchat anymore. I had it for like 2 weeks. I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't have TikTok either. I feel like that's the same thing. I'm too old for TikTok.
You're too old for TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody can find humor in TikTok.
I mean, I like watching TikTok on people that steal it and put it on Twitter. I'll do that, but I'm not gonna download TikTok.
You said what?
Like, you know how people will share TikToks on Twitter?
Oh yeah.
I'll watch them, but I'm not gonna.
So you'll watch the video on Twitter, but you won't watch it on TikTok because you're like,
Well, I
no.
mean, I don't want anyone to catch me with TikTok on my phone.
Yeah, because it's like a thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's weird. What's going on with that?
I don't know. I'm not cool enough to be on all those social media apps.
Because it's a Chinese-owned app.
Isn't everything Chinese owned nowadays?
Not farms in the United States.
There's not a whole lot of those left, though. Or there's a bunch by where you guys are, right?
There's a lot out here in Stockton.
Yeah.
My buddy's he's got a cherry farm. And
In Stockton?
oh my gosh, he brings over the freshest cherries. It's insane. I'm trying to see what it's called. I think it's River.
I have avocados in my backyard.
Rivermaid, there it is. Rivermaid Trading Company. So Rivermaid Trading Company is a grower, packer, shipper of pears and cherries.
Oh, pears?
Oh my gosh, he brings over these pears, and they have probably, I don't know, so much nutrients in them, but they're full of water. You got what? Your cell phone. Hold on, we're missing a phone.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
you know Katie?
I know Katie since we were 2 years old.
Oh wow, yeah, no, she's great. I've known her for a couple of years. Tell her say hi.
I will tell her. She's awesome. I haven't seen her in probably 10 years, but
Right on. Yeah, what's your name?
Amy Kaplan with a K.
Did I meet you before?
I don't think so. I'm at all the events though. I'm sure you see me.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, 8 years, huh? He never brings pussy out here.
Talking about the cat.
Oh my God. Did you name her yet?
You know, that's what Nick was asking me. He's like, what's the name of this cat if she's gonna be living here? And I was like, I don't know. I was tossed up between Broadway because that's where I found her.
Okay.
Found her on Broadway, or Angel.
I like Angel because you said on your Instagram, your little angel. I think you should do Angel. She's so cute.
I do this.
That's so creepy.
Why?
Because you're doing to the cat what the cat's supposed to do to you.
What was it? I feel like this is what her mother's supposed to do, but she doesn't have a mom, so
Oh.
I act like a mom.
She's so chill.
She is, right?
Yeah. I love cats.
Look, she hangs. I had this thing where I had the coffee table, and she jumped from the couch onto the coffee table, but she like barely cleared it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, come on, let's try it again. You can clear it. She cleared it even further. So I was like, all right, let me kick this table back a little bit. And she ate it, but she still did it.
Yeah.
And then the second time I was like, come on, you go. I was like coaching her. You ever see that video on of the little girl, of the Iranian boy that was jumping on the box and he kept failing. It's like a little 5-year-old.
Yeah.
He nailed it and he was like super elated. That's how I felt when I saw her land on the table. Like after I stretched it out further, she landed it and I was like, yes.
Like you're a father.
Yeah. I'm a little cat dad. She likes being up here. This is where she was when I met her.
Okay, so I want to hear the story, but I want to include this part in the interview.
Wait,
Like,
what?
I want to hear the story about how you found her and everything, but I want to include that. Can I include it?
Sure.
Okay, so tell me.
How I found her?
Yeah, like the story of how you found her.
I was going on a bike ride, and I was gonna go like probably 50 miles that day. I got all suited up, and the thing with cycling is that once you're in it, like you're in it for at least a good 2-3 hours. You lock in on your pedals, and you're in the zone. You gotta be real careful of all the cars that are going by you, everything that's happening, all the intersections, the lights. And then I was in mile 1, and I saw these 2 girls in the middle of the road trying to push something in a box, and there was cars flying by them. Like, what is going on? So I swerve in, and they just got her in a box right before cars were flying right by her. And I was like, well, what are you going to do with her? And she's like, we're just going to wait for animal control. What? She's like, we're just going to wait for animal control. And I was like, oh, well, I'll take her if you want. I think, well, I'm on a bike ride, but I can throw her in my back pouch. I have a kit. It's the Michael David Winery kit that we ride on. And there's like a little pouch here. And I put it in the pouch. And she stayed in there for probably about like 2-3 miles. And then she crawled up the space between my neck and my back, because when I'm on a bike, I'm like leaned over slightly like this. And so she crawled out of the pouch and slid right up to my back and stayed there. I'm like, I'm not going to do 50 miles with you like this. I'll do 20. So I got 20 in, but she was super content.
How, like, time-wise, how long is 20 miles?
I forget what I did, but
Because that seems like a really long time to have a cat on your back.
It was probably like an hour. I mean, I was planning on doing like 2 or 3 hours that day, but she changed the plans.
She's so cute. So were you a cat person before that, or did you just discover?
No, my sisters have cats, and I'm always like, get this cat away from me. And now here I am in quarantine, and the world is ending, and I got a cat.
What do your sisters say about it?
Well, same thing you say. Ask me what I name her, and tell me all kinds of things I should do for her and what I shouldn't do, and tell me that my cat Olympics idea was a really bad idea. I shouldn't torment the cat. I feel like she's super athletic, and she likes, she's an adrenaline junkie. That's why she was in the middle of the road dodging cars when I met her.
So what does everybody at the house think that you're going to have a cat all of a sudden? What are you going to do with it when you have to go off for bike camp and stuff?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out just now, because I got Fight to Win next weekend, and I'm like, well, do I bring her with me? Do I claim her as an emotional support animal or what? People got all kinds of tricks of getting them animals on planes. I mean, I don't mind bringing her. I just think with all the COVID and coronavirus stuff that's going on, it might be best to just leave her back.
Yeah. Have you seen those cat backpacks?
I saw that. I was thinking about either doing that, but the problem is it gets too hot when I'm riding because it's constantly in the sun. Or
I mean for the plane. Yeah, you wouldn't want to.
I might put her in a basket on my bike, so she can go on all my rides.
So cute.
I did 100 miles, and that took me that was like 4.5, 5 hours. Just straight riding. Like no stopping. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you get in the zone, when you're cycling, it's all about eliminating risk and just trying to stay on your bike as as long as you can.
But then do you have to turn around and ride back?
It depends on the route you take that day.
So it's like usually a circle then, somehow. Or do you have a car waiting at the end?
No, I mean,
How do you get home?
well, the cool thing about being up here in Stockton and Lodi is that they got a lot of plains and a lot of like, farm areas. So it's wide open. There's a lot of space out here. I mean, the roads are busy, but not as like busy as like 405 in LA or Malibu, PCH in Malibu. So I get out there and I'll carve. The MDW sports guys, the Michael Dave Winery guys, they got routes that they've been doing for 20 plus years. I mean, when I started the cycling, I was riding with guys that have been doing this for 20, 25 years. I looked at one of my friends, John Fritz. He's a local out here in Stockton, and he kind of brought me in and showed me the ropes of cycling and helped me through it. I'm like, dude, I'm like a white belt, and you're like a black belt, red belt, maybe red belt level. Because he lives, eat, and breathes it. And then, like Nick, he knows all the ins and outs of it. So he's like, give me some pointers, and Nate, and it's just like, the cool thing about cycling is it's like once you're out there, you're out there, and you just try to find your edge, and you try to find your groove, and it really increases my cardiovascular fitness. So I like it.
So
It would lead me to a nice, wonderful kitty.
led you to Angel. I've just named your cat now. It's official. Oh my god. So cute. I like want to reach through. Can you see me like my hands?
Sometimes I'm holding my camera like this. She'll look at it like I'll be watching a video, and sometimes I'll put like the front facing camera on her, and she'll like swat at it. Come on, look. Oh. She doesn't want to play.
A little meow even is so cute.
Want to go down?
Totally lost my train of thought when you showed me the cat.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to.
Okay. Something about that. Oh, so if you weren't doing competitive sports like jiu-jitsu and MMA, do you think you would ever want to do biking?
Biking? Yeah, that's what my buddy Damien said. He's like, dude, like some of these cyclists, they make millions of dollars a year. I'm like, well, where do they come from? They're like, they come from all different sports. And as they just started cycling, all of a sudden they're just doing that professionally. And I was like, there's a whole underground world of it. So it's pretty cool. I'm just trying to get the most out of it. I think that there are a lot of attributes that you can develop physically that benefit from cycling and cycling for long periods of time. So,
like what?
Well, I mean, attention to details is one of them. Because I came from a skydiving background. I did. I probably have over 400, maybe close to 500 jumps, but that's nothing compared to most people. Most people that are in skydiving have like 10,000 jumps. But there's all these little nuances in skydiving that you got to know. You got to check your rig over and over again when you pack your rig, when you're out there. Check your altitude. There's protocol when you're falling from the sky.
Yeah. With like solo jumping?
Yeah.
You've done 400 jumps?
Yeah, a little over.
That's crazy. When was the last time you did that?
He's gonna jump. 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 Alright, don't jump. The last time I did that, it's been a while because I've been focused on MMA. Really?
I was gonna say, like, what would Bellator say if they knew that you were jumping out of airplanes?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I got a buddy of mine. It's nonstop. Is it echoing?
No.
I got a buddy of mine that's constantly hounding me to go, and I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, one, because that's what I'm saying. It's a mindset. When you're skydiving, you got to be like in it. And if your focus is elsewhere, it's just life or death.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 sec. She wants to go down. But yeah.
So do you just like to fill your life with things that might kill you or like harm your body? Like, does that? Like, if you weren't doing something like that, do you think you'd be bored? Are you bored now?
Well, that was why I chose that walkout song for my last fight. Sucker for Pain. Why am I doing this? Why am I going through all of this?
Yeah.
Like when I was in they have the grappling show ADCC.
Yeah.
When it was in 2007, I was cutting all this weight, trying to make all this weight, trying to get to the point where I was fine. Dehydrating my body, flying all the way to Finland, doing these matches, had a broken rib, and was putting myself through all this. I'm like, what? So let me get this straight. I'm willing to put my body through all this stress and all this rigmarole for the chance to win an ADCC gold medal. It's a different kind of sickness, I think.
I mean, but that's what you guys do when you fight, because you're willing to do all that stuff for the chance that maybe someday you'll get a belt. I mean, I'm assuming that's what you guys want, is the belt.
I think the belt for Bellator is very appealing, but at the same time, like, a belt, listen, don't get me wrong, a belt with Bellator, if you're a Bellator champion, it's legit, right?
Yeah.
But I think part of it also for me is not just having the Bellator. That will come, right? The Bellator belt will come, but it's about being a complete, full martial artist. And yeah, that's why I moved out here. And that's what's been really difficult for me, because especially during this time, quarantine, everybody scared of the end of the world happening and things like that. But my family is all in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going home and being there with my family during this and trying to help out, I have to stay here. And the reason I have to stay here is because I need to be constantly improving and furthering my development as a martial artist, as a mixed martial artist, as a student of the game, if you will. And it's tough because I sacrificed being in LA and being with my LA friends. I sacrificed going home and being with my mom and my brothers and sisters during this time. My sisters just had kids, and it's like I should be there being an uncle and helping and being present, and I can't because I have to focus here. And there's nothing wrong with that because everything's kind of like a time in the season, but I think that is a good gauge for Bellator, I guess you could say, to know my level of commitment.
Yeah. Well, and also your level of commitment to competing, because you're going to be getting on a plane, right? And going to, what is it, Dallas?
Yeah. So
are you nervous about that? Honestly.
I want to do what's right. And I want to be conscious of everything that's going on. Like, look, I had 3 shows canceled since this whole Corona thing. And I was going to do pans. I didn't do pans and compete in the black belt. And I was really excited about that. We were just like, I think a week or 2 weeks away. And then all of a sudden the carpet got pulled out from underneath us. And we couldn't do the pans. So that was the first event. I was also slated to do Polaris. Couldn't do that. I was going to make a return and do a match. I forget who it was going to be, but Polaris wanted me back to go over to England. And with all the things that were happening, it was like, okay, well, are we at risk? Are we personally at risk, or are we putting others at risk? And I think as it's developed, so I missed that. And then I think there was one other show, whatever. But Fight to Win, Seth is, I don't know if you know Seth Daniels.
I know Seth Daniels very well. He's not a guy that's going to stop in the face of anything.
Well, it's not that he's just like kind of meat-headed and just like, oh, screw that, I'm going to do that. He's very intelligent. And
yeah.
He knows a lot about the community, and he has a lot of care about the community. And I think I trust his his perspective. I can say that, knowing him and for how many years before, some of these guys that were running these shows, like they had no idea who was who at this point. But, I talked to Seth, I'm like, oh, he'll give me a full rundown on all the athletes. He really cares about that. And, he came from like a concert background where he was putting on concerts and doing all these different shows. And then he started doing these jiu-jitsu shows. And I started doing more and more for him. You know, one match got big and another match got bigger, and you know, I was doing all these matches, and it's a really cool event. If you've never been to a Fight to Win, and, you know, he puts on a really spectacular light show. He's got a good eye for it. He knows what the crowd's looking for on the other side of the screen. He knows what the crowd in the audience is looking for. He knows what we should be striving for, like in terms of as a jiu-jitsu practitioners. He has gi matches, no gi matches, and I think that in terms of full encompassing grappling shows out there today, he's not only a force to be reckoned with, but he's got the interest of his athletes at heart. So I trust that going into this weekend. And it's just probably the same thing that's happened with these MMA shows. Just one second. Let me see. It's probably the same thing that's happening, you know, with some of these MMA shows. I don't know what's going on with Bellator, you know, when they want to kick things back up, but July.
I just talked to Scott.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's understandable. It seems like things are starting to pick up more in the okay, let's repair and rebuild stage. We had the whole pandemic happen. You know, we have to take it as serious as, you know, it is, because it's affecting the entire world. Right? I don't want to be involved with something that is kind of ignorant in terms of all the things that are happening in the world. Like MMA and jiu-jitsu is really cool, but I care about my family. I care about my friends, and I care about, you know, my aunt and uncle. My aunt is 70 years old. She lives in Ohio. She hasn't left her house in like 2 months. She just had a hip replacement, just had a femur broken, and she finally overcame all that. And then this pandemic hit, and it's like, okay, what's protocol? What's the best way to go about this? And I think everybody can only do as much as they can. Obviously the media plays a part, and stats and the World Health Organization, even all the things that's happening with technology. These are life-changing days. So I don't want to be like, oh, hurry up, let's get these grappling shows on, and let's hurry up and get the MMA fight. And it's like, hey, well, slow up. Let's really see what's going on here, because our life as we know it, the world, even the way we're gonna operate from this point forward is gonna be completely different. And I've been really reading and trying to stay close to, you know, Robert Greene.
Mm-hmm.
He's a New York Times bestselling author. He's written a lot of wonderful books.
Robert King?
Robert Greene. Did I say?
I don't know.
Robert Greene.
What does he write?
For example, 33 Strategies of War. 33 Strategies of War. I think that's Nick connecting to the. I had Just Like Heaven on.
I know. I was like, that's different.
What kind of song do you like?
I like what was playing. Do you know if Fight to Win is going to be in an empty arena, or is it going to be open?
It'll be closed. And there have been grappling shows that have done that before. I've done closed viewing, not open to the public before. I think for an MMA fight, it's a little bit different, because the intensity, like the atmosphere, plays a big factor into that. With jiu-jitsu, there's more of a lull. It's more of a kind of feeling out process, and you can do it with your buddy in the garage.
Do you know who you're competing against yet?
Yeah, and that was the cool thing about it. So Seth, you know, he let me know that he was going to be trying to put these shows back, and I was like, man, I'm all for it. Any way I can help, you know, put me on, let's go. You know, I'm with it. just because his approach to, I think, professional grappling, professional jiu-jitsu right now is some of the best out there. So kind of gave me a list of guys, and I was like, man, Caixinha, the guy Oswaldo, he's Brazilian. He's a 4-time black belt world champion, multiple-time Pan American medalist, finalist in the gi. You know, he's no, in terms of jiu-jitsu caliber quality, he's 10 out of 10. Like,
Is it going to be a gi match?
Real McCoy, yeah, it's a gi match. It's a gi match, and I think the reason why I am so keen on doing a gi match with someone like Caixinha, as you know, it's a tall order. It's not like I'm going to some rinky-dinky promotion and doing a grappling match, not even a jiu-jitsu match in the gi, some grappling match with like a purple belt. Like and that was the last fight to win match. The last fight to win match, I had a black belt, 2-time black belt world champion in a no gi match. Now I'm going against a 4-time black belt world champion in a gi match with a guy that, I mean, he's a threat. He's had, people don't know Caixinha. Just do a quick search on some of his matches. He's been doing this a long time. I think he got his black belt when I started or something like that.
So I gotta ask, every time that you're at Fight to Win, it seems like something happens, some controversy happens with you. I mean, not just you, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Wait, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I was asking you why you think that is. Like, do you feel like maybe people have in their mind a picture of you, and then they want to live up to that, or they want to, I don't know how to explain it, but they assume something's going to happen, so they kind of make something happen.
They're kind of ahead of the curve, I guess. I never really thought about it like that. I think that, you know, people do unexplainable things when they're living in fear, or they're intimidated or affected by something that's around them, be it a jiu-jitsu match, or be it something work-related, or even just words sometimes play an effect on people. So, and you know what? Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. It's like you're asking me to kind of like. It's like know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't. All I know what I'm thinking, which is, I want to be the best. I didn't say being the best meant being undefeated. I meant being the best. Sometimes I go out there and, you know, I do way above what I expected it to be. Sometimes I go out there and I do way less than what I expected it to be. But as long as I'm closing that gap personally in my own like career as an athlete and as a martial artist, where my appreciation for what I'm doing is more in line with the actual display, how it looks and how it's portrayed by someone that doesn't know me, doesn't know what I do. They look on a fight, they're like, I want to see more of that guy. I want to see that guy's match. I want to see how he responds to this. I want to see what his answer is. I want to see, you know, Seth knows. I mean, in terms of I think matches across all the different promotions, there's no one that's got me beat. I've got more experience in all of the promotions, gi and no gi, than any other practitioner out there. And that's because I'm willing to step outside of my comfort zone. You got to remember, I was a wrestler. I was a wrestler with just minimal wrestling background in Florida, nonetheless. Florida's not like the powerhouse wrestling state. It's not like Iowa or Ohio or Pennsylvania or New Jersey. It's like you know, it's not the best. And but I came at it from a wrestling background, and I started it, and I said, well, I'm going to be the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner that I could possibly be. I've been to Brazil. I've done the whole travel around, do seminars, you know, and do super shows. You got to remember how all these super shows and these grappling shows started. And a lot of it for me was paying close attention to Nick and watching what he was doing in MMA at the time. You got to remember, he was a high level athlete, one of the first of its kind when that was his era in MMA. Like, there was no other guys that were doing triathlons. There were no other guys that could, you know, swim 2 miles straight, then get up and do, you know, 20 rounds in a boxing gym and go run 5 miles and be under 36 minutes. Like, that's a full encompassing practitioner. That's someone that really embodies everything that it is to be a martial artist. And when I saw that and what his approach was going through it in MMA and all the things, promotion and all that, I was like, well, I want to do the same thing for jiu-jitsu. But because I wanted to make a living in jiu-jitsu, I wanted to do what I love for a living. You know that corny saying, if you do what you love for a living, you will never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I saw jiu-jitsu. And I was kind of part of the first American wave of like full-time competitors, full-time on the world team, traveling all over, doing all these seminars. And I was doing all of this, but I was like, and you asked me about like, am I just like pain? I'm more focused on the progression, the evolution of things, and how we can be at, like, I can be at a starting point from as a wrestler. Now I am a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been to 35 countries. I speak fluent Portuguese. I've been to Brazil. You know, I feel like I can make acai. I can, you know, I've had a Brazilian girlfriend before. Like, I feel like I'm.
How international of you.
You know what I mean? Like, I fully embraced the culture of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and I learned, and I followed. I mean, the Gracie family and everybody that, you know, the who's who, Roger Gracie, the Jacare, the Marcelo Garcia, the greats, the Shanji Ribeiro, the you know, Romulo Barral. when you see a full another world, you know, at a certain level, it's time. Like, I feel like I reached to the point in jiu-jitsu where I'm like, okay, I'm at where I want to be. Now I want to bring it and take it further. And that's why I'm here during this pandemic. And that's another reason why I want to work with Seth and get these grappling matches going, because, you know, part of my responsibility as an athlete is to make sure all the other athletes are doing what they can do as well. Because as an aspiring athlete, I was motivating and kind of pulling a generation of grapplers out and like, hey, come on, we can do this. So now we had a shock to what our reality was, and there's no more shows. Okay, well, let's get it back. And, you know, Seth hit me up and he's like, dude, I have to be like 25% below budget. I'm like, well, then just take 25% off my purse and, you know, let's do it. But it's you know, high tides rise all boats. So we get this going, then he'll be able to, okay, you can reassess things. It's gonna, you know, we got to do certain, like I said, the world as we know it's going to be completely different, but we'll do, you know, I know he's going to take the precautionary things. And I have a strong immune system, so I'm not worried about, like, you know, it's just like morally and ethically, am I in line with what's going on? Because, you know, I think that it's important for all of us to be cognizant of it. I know we're all eager to get back, and I am just as anybody. I was devastated when Pan Am's got canceled. But this was more so ever a time to kind of hone in some other skills. You know, so if you look, I don't know if you can see, I put a double end bag up.
Yeah. Wait, is that the little one? Yeah, okay.
I saw the double end bag and I saw a heavy bag. I've been doing these like this and running and biking and swimming and doing everything I possibly can to develop it. There are athletes, I don't even call them athletes. There are grapplers out there that just, they want to be known as butt scooting grapplers. And I'm like, go on a run, go on a swim, go do something else. And especially right now, you don't have access to gyms. Well, get up and go learn some other martial art. Go help your mom. Go help do something. Do something, but be so fanatical about jiu-jitsu. And I get it because I used to be there. But in my experience, when the best gains I had in jiu-jitsu were when I took a step back and I said, okay, let me develop these other attributes and then come and have a more full, holistic approach to what we're trying to do here, which it should be to submit your opponent. It shouldn't be, I shouldn't want to avoid standing up with my opponent because I'm really bad at takedowns. No, I should develop my takedown game so that I can keep the match standing if I want to. I shouldn't want to resort to just jumping on my butt. I mean, my whole brown belt career, I pull guard all my matches, but that was just to learn the art of guarding, being a guard player. But that wasn't where I stayed. It was just to develop it. And I think right now with the pandemic and everything that's going on, the best thing that we could be doing is not crying about the gyms not being open up, but you'd be surprised what you can do in your own backyard on your own. And I know, look, I spent many years in mats, but part of being a black belt is knowing when and where to use your skills.
Have you been doing any jiu-jitsu at all? Like, do you have a place to do that?
That's what I'm saying. Jiu-jitsu isn't limited to you rolling all around on mats with another dude. Jiu-jitsu is a concept. Jiu-jitsu is a mindset, and it's something you don't really understand until you do it. And then at the point where you're doing it, you're like, "Am I doing it?" It'll go another level, and you're like, "Oh, this is even further, even more mind blowing." Like, you gotta look at, like, I live in Stockton, California right now. I'm just this little white kid that grew up in the swamps of Florida with an interesting way of looking at things. And now I'm living with arguably the best MMA fighter of all time in a global pandemic crisis, striving to become the best martial artist that I can be. And, I don't think any of that could be possible if I wasn't open to the possibility of it. And the only way I'm open to the possibility of it is stepping outside of my comfort zone, which for a lot of the athletes out there, stepping out of your comfort zone is, okay, am I going to sit to my butt right away and just try to play footsies and go for leg locks? No, try to expand your skills. Get up and do some takedowns. Do a takedown defense. There are some grapplers that don't even want to put the gi on, and then they call themselves a black belt. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. Maybe some standard that you are wrapping up in your head to believe that it is a black belt, but it's not.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing during quarantine that isn't like punching and kicking? Like, are you guys playing board games or like doing weird crafts? Like, people want to know what you guys are doing. Just, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's learning these weird, like, I'm learning how to needlepoint. So everybody's learning some weird thing that they'd never done before. Like, what's the thing that you guys are doing?
Well, I learned how to put up a speed bag. I learned how to install some of this equipment here. I mean, and it's not really any different.
Yeah.
Me, it's not any really different. I wake up, I answer emails here and there and do my diligence in that department. But
did you lose the cat?
Let me see. In the box. It's not really different, and it's not different because I'm not bored. And you get bored when you get limited, and you're limited when you're so narrow-minded. When you have a big, wide perspective and you're trying to embody things in a broader sense, you're never going to get bored.
Yeah. So what about if Scott called you and said, can you fight in 3 weeks? What would you say?
When and where?
3 weeks is when?
As an athlete, it's just to be ready.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to tell my mom. She's like, well, why are you coming home right now? And I'm like, Mom, I would love to be home. I'd love to be home doing that and you know, being there with all everyone during this time, because it's a rough time. It is, you know. But I got to be focused, and when I'm focused and I'm doing my numbers and I'm getting my road miles in, like you know, Nick checks my shit every night. Like he's like, all right, what was your 5-mile time? How many rounds did you get in? You know, what was your max heart rate today? Like you know, it's like if I'm dialed in on that, I know I'm gonna be ready when Scott Coke gives me the call. But if I'm at home, although I'd love to be doing barbecues and hanging out with my family, I can't right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the unfortunate circumstance that we're in. But to kind of like put myself in an opportunity that might arise, whether it will or it won't. I signed 4 fights with Bellator for the next 16 months. So it's like my duty as their licensed athlete, contracted athlete, is to be ready. I can't. Rich Chow calls me up and he's like, "Hey AJ, I got this dude." I'm like, "Oh man, you know, hey, sorry, bro. Quarantine really hit me, and you know, I haven't been really on my training. I failed. If that's my response to this, then I failed."
You have 4 more fights, or you have 4 fights total?
So the last fight that I had was my 4th fight on that contract.
Okay.
But I got offered a re-up.
Okay, so it's 4 more.
Yeah, and I actually got offered a re-up before my last fight. So I think they were probably even more elated after that fight, because that fight was crazy.
That was an amazing fight. There were people that was Cyborg's Bellator debut, so she had a bunch of girlfriends there and who don't really watch MMA, and everybody was talking about your fight after.
Oh, well, that makes you
feel good.
It's cool to know that. Like I said, about like when people don't know you and don't know what you do or don't know the sport, and they can look down and see something that they can relate to, or say like, you know, hey, I get that. Or even a clap. A clap goes a long way. Like when you you don't understand how much work and sacrifices. And I mean, I'm explaining it the best way I can. Like I should be home and I'm not home, but I'm here instead. I'm in Stockton, California. I'm eating rice and beans and working out every single day. Like, not the most luxurious, you know, bougie lifestyle that, you know, you would think, but it's sacrifice. And with sacrifice like that, I think to hear something like that from somebody, you know, somebody that was you know, had a positive effect on something that I put a lot of hard work, hours and time into. Yeah, that it's good to hear. So thank you.
Well, that's good to know, because I think fans sometimes don't know like what they mean to you guys as fighters. Like what to fan react. I mean, negative or positive, you know, it's like I think they don't really think that you guys are paying attention. So it's nice to know that you guys are paying attention, or at least it matters.
Yeah. I mean, everybody puts their hours of work into something for an end result, right? For a finished product. Our finished product is our fights. So we put hours, and days, and months, and years of compounded training on top of training and sacrifices for a 5-minute and sometimes 30 seconds or 15 minutes. That's it. And that's what we had to show. And if, like, for me, the biggest positive effect that I had, you know, I had a fight, and I was able to bring my sister to the fight, which, you know, some people feel the way they feel about people being at their fight and that sort of thing. But if my sister got some positive takeaway, just kind of being in around it and seeing her big brother fight for the first time, and it was at the forum, and she made some personal gains because of it, then how cool is that?
Does your family watch your fights?
My mom hates it, but
yeah, moms usually do. Has she never seen you fight? What about jiu-jitsu? Will she watch that, or does she still not like that either?
Yeah, well, my mom, she she's she's one of the most versatile, biggest multitaskers you'll ever meet. So I think a lot of times for her, it's just understanding the objective. She's like, why were you doing that? And what was this for? And wait, so when you were on top, what was the score? And what? And she's like trying to analyze everything. That's probably where I get my analytical side from.
Probably.
But didn't even think about it till now. But she has a really unique way of looking at things. And I know when I'm in a conversation with my mom, wherever I'm at in my life, whatever I'm doing, my mom calls, I'm like, okay, there's a reason why I need to answer this call right now and talk to her, because whether she's going to talk about the thing that I'm dealing with or talk about something completely different, it's going to answer and alleviate stress that I may have, or kind of give me a better sense of what I'm looking at. And I'm rambling. How did you get me? How long have we been talking?
I don't know. It's all right. Don't look. It's going to make you more nervous. Just keep going.
Yeah, moms are good.
What were you going to say about your mom? You stopped on purpose. What were you going to say?
It's awesome to have her insight in mind when it comes to, even like you think, oh, you're gonna call your mom for advice on it. No, I'm not calling my mom for technical advice on a fight, but a mindset and a broad, understanding of what we're looking at. Yeah, absolutely, because she has a good way of kind of pulling out the things that I need to call attention to, or
And you have a bunch of siblings, right? Like 7 siblings or something crazy like that?
brothers and sisters.
How many?
8.
Oh my God. So what was that like growing up?
Everybody was different. My mom thinks of it as kind of like yeah. Oh, there's a lot going on when I was growing up. Never a dull moment.
Yeah, I bet.
Everybody's personality was different. I was the oldest boy, second oldest. I had an older sister. She was exactly a year older than me. We shared the same birthday. We were 2 Leos in the family. I was the only Leo male, and she's a Leo female. And she was older than me. I think there's this app called CoStar. Have you ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Are you into astrology at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
My mom hates when I talk about it because, she's...
I like it because it's almost always right, but I don't know if it's right because it's very vague and you can like twist it enough to make it right. But yeah, I mean, I think tendencies, I always fall for the same type of person. They always end up having the same sign, and I'm like, what the fuck?
When were you born?
September 17th. I'm a Virgo.
Virgo. You're like a woman.
Yes, I am a woman.
Virgo, though, is very woman-dominant sign, like a women attributes. See, but the thing is, most people are like, oh yeah, like that's pretty basic. I could be for any sign. Blah, blah, blah. Well, no, you need to know your sun,
Mm-hmm.
you need your moon, and you need to know your rising. Those 3 things. And why? The sun is your own identity, your ego. You're most likely the sign that you think of yourself as, or the sign you see yourself as. The moon, on the other hand, which rules your emotional side, rules your emotions, and that's a completely different aspect of it. And then you have your ascendant, which is your rising, and that's the way that you, that's your mask that you present to people. That's what you, that's a completely different sign. So you have to know all 3. And I think that there's maybe, you think what you want, truth, not truth, but I think there is something to be said about where the stars and the sun and the moon are, when you were born and brought into this world, and where they currently are every single day. And there are certain pulls and with the planets that, it's good to know that.
What are the traits of the Leo that you think you have? Like, I don't know what the typical Leos.
The Leo's typically dramatic. You want me to read it to you?
Yes, read it.
Tell me.
Dramatic sounds like you.
You can tell me if this sounds like me or not.
Okay.
And then, yeah, chart. Okay, Sun in Leo. The Sun determines your ego and identity and role in life. It's the core of who you are and is a sign you most likely to already know. Your Sun is in Leo, meaning you are fundamentally bold and proud. You love attention and to be cared for. You pay it back in kind with your charm and ability to make people feel better when they're blue. You know what your skills are and how to use them. It's your 10th house, meaning you feel the need to distinguish yourself from others through goals, success, and responsibility. So my moon is in Leo. My sun is in Leo. My moon is in Leo. And that's like a it's like a double three.
Yeah. So you're very Leo.
Yeah, but
It doesn't sound like you though, from what I know about you. It does sound like you.
But my ascendant is in Libra, and my Libra is my mother sign. So that's why, like, the math that I present to people, that's my mother side. I lead
Is
with
that what a Libra is? Is they're like analytical?
Quirky.
Okay. That's definitely you.
When so you're a Virgo. Do you have a phone on you? Are you on
I
it?
do have a phone on me, yes.
Download this app right now. It's called CoStar.
What's
Do you
it
know the
called?
time you were born?
No, I don't know the time I was born.
So you have to download this app. It's called.
I think it was 7 p.m.
Has to be exact.
Oh, I don't know. I'll find out. I'll ask my mom. What's it called?
Called CoStar. CoStar.
Okay. Is it like a daily, like, will it give you little daily things, or is it?
It's really cool. Like, I mean, if I'm talking to someone and I want to try to understand them a little bit better, I'm like, download this app right now. It's gonna tell me everything I need to know about you.
Oh no. Now I want to know.
It's basically.
What else is a Virgo that you know?
I met this girl in Ohio. She's a Virgo, and she has a lot of very. Let me pull it up for you. Actually, I won't tell you who it is, but I'll read you the Virgo qualities so that you know what.
You're sounds like you're trying to be nice.
No, I mean Virgo is. I think a trait as a Virgo is a very like. It's powerful energy. AJ, sorry, that's the compatibility. Sun in Virgo. The sun determines your ego and role in life. It's the core of who you are and the sign you're most likely to already know. Their sign is in Virgo, meaning they're particularly smart, reasonable, hardworking, and self-sacrificing. They're thorough, meticulous, and intentional in everything they do. You can accomplish things that most people can't, but may also get bogged down by the details of your day-to-day.
That's true.
They have a need to be wholesome. It's their 8th house, meaning they feel the need to distinguish themselves from others through darkness, taboos, rebirth, sex, and transformation.
Wait, they like to be wholesome? Or they don't like to be wholesome?
Meaning they feel the need to distinguish themselves from others through darkness, taboos, rebirth, sex, and transformation. They have a need to be wholesome.
But I don't know what that means. Does that mean that I'm confused?
I think that means that you have a need to be wholesome is like.
But taboos aren't wholesome. So they're saying that they don't want to be.
No, this is their 8th house. So your house might be different, and that's the thing. Like once you know your sun, your moon, and your ascendant, you can kind of get a better understanding of it, because most people think that their emotion side is their sun side, and that's not the fact. Or their emotion side, or the way they present to people is the way that what their sun is, and that's not the case. Everyone's different, but they're saying here that it's their 8th house, meaning they feel the need to distinguish themselves through others through darkness, taboos, rebirth, sex, and transformation. So they have a need to be wholesome, yet.
But they're fighting it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was like. That doesn't make sense. Okay. That makes more sense.
Would you say that's somewhat accurate?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I was like, wait. That's really creepy.
How many tattoos do you have?
I lost count. I don't know. I have way too many.
How old were you when you got your first tattoo?
18. Oh my gosh, and I got it with Katie Shin.
Oh, Nick's friend.
Yeah, actually, I went with her. She was gonna get one, and I was trying to talk her out of it because I said that they were stupid and it was a bad idea. And then I got there and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I want one. And so she's like, yeah, get one. I got one first, and then she chickened out, and to this day she has no tattoos.
You're
So
it's
all her fault.
that dominant, powerful energy that's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, but don't ask me what it is because it's really embarrassing.
Okay, well, what was your second tattoo?
Oh, that one was horrible too. I don't know, I can't remember the order, but it was probably the tribal tattoo I have on between my shoulder blades on my back. It's terrible.
Which one hurt the most?
The ones on my feet.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They're the worst pain.
Yeah.
On your rib cage.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any on my rib cage. And this one spot on my arm, like right there, that really hurt. That's why I don't have any on the undersides of my arm because I hurt too bad. I'm a big wuss.
Yeah. That's generally a sign of a Virgo.
Really?
It's like
Wussy qualities?
Got a lot, but afraid to use it.
Well, that's definitely me. I'm not a big adventure seeker.
Well, you got this job. I think there's a lot of adventure here.
That's true, but I'm on the outside. I don't have to do any of the adventurous stuff. I did get punched in the face once, though.
Yeah, but I think it's still commendable. You did?
Yeah. How or why?
Both.
Well, I was training. I don't know if you know him, but Tony Ferguson's striking coach, he used to teach me Muay Thai because I wanted to learn. I'm the kind of person that needs to learn hands-on. So I felt like if I was writing about the sport, I wanted to at least know what I was doing, like basic stuff. So I went and started training with him. And then he put me in with one of his fighters, and my job was to just try and hit the fighter, and his job was just to run away for me. And then the guy just decided he was going to pop me in the face.
You wearing headgear?
No. And it wasn't hard. It was just a tap, but I was so pissed. I was like, what if I was screamed? Oh my God. I never did it again. I was like, I never trust him anymore.
Yeah, I would think that would probably.
But he's like, I didn't want you to know it was coming, but I wanted you to know what it felt like so you wouldn't be scared next. I think it was like he had a whole game plan. So it never happened again.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. It's not a bad thing. Now I can say I've been punched in the face and I don't have to do it again.
But you know what it feels like, and that's cool that you did that in order to kind of have a better place to write from. I think that's real important, is experience and perspective, and you have that by all the communication that you do with all of the different athletes across the board. I mean, you cover how many different? You cover Bellator, you cover UFC.
I cover all of them.
All of them.
And jiu-jitsu, I'm trying anyways.
Yeah, and you were at the jiu-jitsu event that I was at, the ADCC?
Apparently. I was going through my hard drive looking for photos to post, like, because I didn't have anything new, and I was like, hey, that's AJ. Yeah,
that's funny.
The weird thing was that I had the folder labeled as AJ.
Oh, really?
So at the time I must have known that it was you that I was photographing.
Well, here we are.
Huh?
Here we are.
I know, here we are. The cat. I want to pet the cat so bad. I just want to hold her.
Hi, baby.
She's so cute.
Saying hi. 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 So what else you got going on? You got an event that you're covering this weekend?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
California.
Yeah, but where?
Orange County.
You like Orange County?
No, I hate it.
Yeah, there's a lot happening over there, huh?
Yeah. Well, a lot happening and a lot not happening, if that makes sense.
Like a lot happening in the sense that a lot of moving parts, supposed to.
Yeah, and then not a lot of like culture happening.
Yeah, it's a culture, but it's predominantly an Asian culture.
Yeah. Well, and down where I am, because I'm in South Orange County, so I don't know if you're familiar with Orange County at all.
Yeah, I used to live in Newport.
Okay, so I'm much more south of Newport. I'm in like San Clemente area,
Okay.
Dana Point. So it's very white.
Okay. Yeah, that's more of a surfing town.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Orange County, like I think like Irvine.
Yeah, so like south of Irvine. I live south of there.
Irvine though has, I mean, it's kind of
All Asian people.
mostly Asian, right? Predominantly Asian. There's this place, if you ever get a chance in Newport, called Newport Fresh.
Uh-huh.
You like sashimi?
I do like sashimi.
There's a sashimi bowl that my friend Danny and his wife Monica, they're Asian. They have a Japanese restaurant, and it's got
What's it called?
Newport Fresh.
I'm gonna write it down.
It's a little hole in the wall, like you would never expect it. But you order the sashimi bowl. I mean, I should probably call them and see what's going on because this pandemic, I'm probably doing takeout orders.
Yeah, probably takeout. Oh my gosh, look at her little tail.
But you should try it. It's so good.
I will definitely try it.
Please. She got me doing this thing long.
Hey, I just talked to him earlier about overdoing his interviews and all that stuff like I used to do. And it's just not a big play.
Are you telling him he's got to get his face out there?
Tell me no.
I'm not telling him that. I don't tell him that.
Tell him stay away from the bad media.
I say keep me out of that shit too.
We're so evil.
I told him I'll fuck you up.
I'm good media though.
I didn't know your media.
Yeah. But I'm like more photographer. Don't worry. I swear I'm good media. I'm not John Morgan or Ariel.
Fucking conference call of some sort. I was like, "Are you got some money coming in?
Mingling? Singles ready to mingle?"
Well, he's always got something up his sleeve. I don't know. Something.
This time.
Yeah, one time it was a cat. Yeah, he came with this cat. So I'm going with that cat in the house.
Are you having dates out on the patio?
No. No, but that's what this could be. Like, he didn't know that you were media, so.
Oh, oops.
Maybe you're like a video conference, like on.
None of this was premeditated. What he's trying to say. None of it. We don't fake nothing.
Just me and the cat.
Don't worry, this will be on ESPN tomorrow.
Bye.
Is he still right there?
No, he walked in the kitchen.
Does he not like the media? I mean, I know, like, probably not. What I'm curious. I'm curious. What do you guys think of the media?
Well, I know you're new. That's probably why. Yeah. What do I think of the media? I think it's important. I think it's important to have media coverage for sports. Absolutely. I just think that there's a big difference in quality of media.
Yeah.
I'm not going to engage with somebody that puts poor quality media out there because what's the point? I'm going to spend an hour, 2 hours, with you, giving you some insight and talking about it, and other people are going to have this platform. It's just like, what purpose are we serving? You, it's easy. It's like, hit me up on Twitter, or communicate, or there's not like an uneasy feeling about it. So that makes it easy.
What would somebody have what would somebody do to make you feel uneasy? Like who you don't have to say names, but like has there been media that makes you feel uneasy?
It's not so much the person. I've learned to kind of just separate that it's a job and it's like something that they do. But Ariel Helwani, I think that he's really good at his job, but he finds a lot of angles to kind of push athletes' buttons, and that might piss a lot of people off. I know one time Nick told Ariel, he's like, people like that where I'm from get slapped. So
yeah, like AJ.
yeah, like, you gotta. It's a. You never know. You gotta just kind of tread lightly. And I think that you do a wonderful. I've seen your interviews, not just with me, but with other athletes, and it's, you come at it from a good place, and that's important because you want to make. You don't want an unfocused athlete in performance.
Yeah.
The questions are when they're geared towards that level of focus and they're geared towards the performance, it's easier.
What about all those really useless questions I asked you?
She's getting fidgety, and I want to put her down.
Okay.
So.
Alrighty. Well, bye-bye, Kitty.
You want to say bye? You want to say bye to Nick?
Yeah, sure.
Nick, anyone say bye?
Oh, bye, Amy.
Hi, I'll tell Katie you said hi.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, tell her I said hi.
I will. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
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 I can't hang up with that cat right there.